Howdy folks, my name is Arthur Hernandez and I'm the recruiter at IES Residential, one of the nation's largest residential electrical contractors. And I'm really excited today because I just passed my residential wireman exam. And I was talking it over with Ashley Ramirez, our marketing manager, and she's in charge of all of our social media. And she and I thought it would be a great idea to let you know my experience with taking the test and give you a few pointers and strategies in order to help you pass. One of the awesome things about working for IES Residential is that we have our own training center. Part of our training center includes test prep classes. So we have residential wireman test prep as well as journeyman test prep. Now, I definitely got to go to our residential wireman test prep, and it's a 2.5-day class, and they give you lots of practice tests and lots of test taking strategies. And so I definitely recommend, whether your company has a test prep class or you purchase one outside, I definitely recommend you doing that. I will tell you that I did the way that I don't recommend was I actually took the class about 8 months before I took my test. So you should definitely take it right before you take your test. That's definitely the way to go about it. So we'll fast forward 8 months. So the week before my test, I went through and I took all of my practice exams again. And I went through and I made sure I knew all the answers. I went through in my book and highlighted anything that I thought would help me in order to locate questions on the test faster. So week before I took all the tests over again, and then the day before, the Sunday before, I took it on a Monday. The Sunday before, I actually went and retook all of my tests again. And then after that, I wanted to make sure that I got a good night's sleep beforehand. I do think that's definitely important. So the morning of, definitely had a hearty breakfast. I'm a big fan of eating, and I think that's important. So I definitely had a big breakfast. And then I went through and just went over real briefly the things that were I maybe had some trouble with and that I was a little unfamiliar with, so that when it came time to take the test, I was really ready to go. I will tell you that I had a high level of confidence going in to take the test. So you walk into the test, you gotta have your ID. So they verify my ID. They look through my book to make sure it's okay. And then they lock all of my stuff other than my book in a lock bag. So that you know what the testing environment is like, because I know that can be a bit of a shocker. Now I want to take a little bit of time to tell you a little bit about the test itself. The test is not designed to see if you know everything. The code book is huge and that would be impossible. What the test is designed to do is to make sure that you can find all of the answers in a reasonable amount of time in the code book. So the test is actually 80 graded questions and you get 4 hours to do it in. So they actually sometimes will give you up to 85 questions, and those are just sort of test questions to see if they maybe want to use those later on in the test. However, you don't know that, so you just got to answer all of the questions. So you get about 3 minutes a question. For test taking strategies, I definitely have a few recommendations. Like I said, the test can be up to 85 questions long. So the first thing that I recommend you do is make one pass through the entire test, answering all of the questions that you know 100%. I will tell you that when I was taking my test, out of the first 10, I only knew 2 questions and I freaked out, and I was definitely, all my confidence went out the window, but I just kept on powering through. So take one pass through and answer all the questions that you know. Now in Texas, you have the opportunity to actually mark some of the questions that you don't know, so you can feel free to mark those questions that you think you can find the answers to. After your first pass through, on your second go around, you should be answering all the questions that you can find fairly quickly in the book. So again, taking 2 or 3 minutes to look up all those questions that you think you can find in the book, and any ones that are hard, you should just save those for later on. Now, that's what you should do on your third pass through. So your first pass through, all the questions you know, your second pass through, all the questions you can find in 2 or 3 minutes in the book. So hopefully you've got 10 or 15 questions left and you've got maybe an hour to do it in, and you can take your time looking up all of those questions. They've got, calculations that you've got to find from different parts in the book. So go ahead and do that with the remainder of your time. Now, if you're like me and you have more than a few questions left over and there's maybe 15 or 20 minutes left, you 100% need to just guess and answer those questions. If you don't guess, there's no way you can get them right. So I went through and I guessed reasonably quickly with all of those answers that I didn't know. I will tell you that you can probably guess which ones are not correct. Maybe you can eliminate 2 of them or even 3 of them. So you're increasing your odds of getting those questions correct. And I will tell you that I think I guessed on my last question with maybe 30 seconds left. And so I was about to go make a final pass through that I definitely recommend you do. I don't recommend you leave early. and take every minute of that time that you can, because you never know if you thought you were answering a question a certain way, but you really weren't. So any remainder time that you have left over after you've answered every question, go through and double check all of your questions. Now, when I was walking out of there, I was pretty sad because I thought I for sure failed. It was significantly harder than I thought it was gonna be. And so I'm walking out of the testing center, and the lady stops me and says, "Hey, don't you want your results?" And I told her, "No, I'm sure I failed. That's okay." I was trying to be positive about it because I knew that I've already taken the test once, so the next time I went in there, I wouldn't be as intimidated and I'd be much more positive. But she was like, "Oh no, you passed." And I was super overwhelmed and joyed because it was really tough and I didn't think I did. For me, it was a big deal. I was never good in school. I didn't really make good grades, you know, B's and C's and maybe an occasional A. And I went to college for a year and it just wasn't for me. I'm not able to sit down in a classroom for 8 hours a day, 12 months a year and study that way. It's just not for me. And so being able to pass this residential wireman exam for me was like getting an associate's degree in college. And I really do firmly believe that. Or if you get your journeyman license, it's like getting a bachelor's degree. I firmly believe that. And if you have those things, which I definitely recommend that you do, you're gonna be able to go farther in life. You're gonna be able to demand more money on your pay, and there's gonna be more opportunities available to you. I know that I do speak to a lot of high schoolers and their parents, and they're very concerned that if they don't go to college, they're not gonna be able to succeed in life. And so that's why I tell them that, hey, if you get your residential wireman or your journeyman license, it's just like getting a college degree, and you're gonna be able to demand more money when you're asking for jobs or when you're looking for work. Hey guys, I wanted to definitely wish you guys good luck. I know that if you take this test seriously and you study for it and you do some test prep, I know that you'll pass. Make sure you follow us on social media, so Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and obviously Instagram, IAS Residential, for more fun videos. Thanks guys.